Welcome to MCA Society's Abeda Inamdar Senior College, Department of Computer Science. Introducing a course, Introduction to Cybersecurity, Semester 2, number of credits 3. I, Miss Vijaya Pise, will going to teach you chapter 6 from this subject, which is a system security. Let's start with the part 1 of this chapter. In part 1, we are going to see the concepts as desktop security, email security, especially PGP and SMIME, web security, including web authentication, SSL and SET, and database security. Let's start with our session. Desktop security. Especially, desktop security includes a protection of information and property from theft, corruption, or any other type of damage while allowing information to remain accessible and productive. Desktop security includes development and implementation of security countermeasures. There are number of different approaches for desktop security such as use of a firewall, data encryption, passwords, and a biometrics. Let's see them one by one. Firewall. A firewall is a network security device that monitors and filters incoming and outgoing network traffic as shown in a diagram. At its most basic, firewall is essentially the barrier that sits between private internal network and public internet. Main purpose of firewall is to allow the non-threatening traffic in and to keep dangerous traffic out. There are various types of firewalls like packet filtering, proxy service, stateful inspection, and next generation firewall. A firewall is necessary part of any security architecture and takes a guesswork out of host level protection and entrusts them to your network security device. Firewalls, especially the next generation firewalls, focuses on blocking malware and application layer attacks along with an integrated intrusion prevention system IPS. These firewalls can react quickly and seamlessly to detect and reach to outside attacks across the whole network. They can set various policies to better defend your network and carry out quick assessment to detect the suspicious activity like malware and shut it down. Why we need a firewall? Firewall focuses on blocking malware and application layer attacks. Thus, in order to protect our system from these, we need a firewall. Along with an integrated instruction prevention system, next generation firewalls are able to react quickly to detect and combat attacks across the whole network. Let's move towards the next security policy, which is data encryption. Now, as shown in the diagram, you can easily see that the plain text plus some key plus some algorithm will result in a ciphertext. So basically, data encryption is a method of protecting data by converting it into encoded information, which is known as a ciphertext. Ciphertext can only be decoded with a unique decryption key, generally either at the time of encryption or beforehand. Data encryption can be used during a data storage or transmission and is typically used in conjunction with authentication service to ensure that keys are only provided to or used by authorized users. The type of encryption used depends on how data is intended to be accessed and by whom. Encryption can be a private encryption or a public encryption. There exist two keys, private key which is also known as a symmetric encryption and a public key which is known as asymmetric encryption. In symmetric encryption, it uses a single key for both encryption and decryption. It is a faster method than asymmetric encryption and is best used by individual or within a closed system. Using symmetric methods with multiple users in an open system, such as over entire network, requires transmission of keys and creates an opportunity for theft. The most commonly used type of symmetric encryption is AES. In case of asymmetric encryption, it uses a paired keys, public key and private key, that are mathematically linked with each other and can only be used together. Either key can be used to encrypt the data, but paired key must be used to decrypt it. Asymmetric encryption is used by a multiple users and across open network like internet because public key can be freely shared without risking data theft. The most commonly used type of asymmetric encryptions are RSA, DSA and PKCS. There are numerous data encryption algorithms to choose from depending on use case, but one most frequently used are triple DES, RSA, two-phase, elliptical curve cryptography, and advanced encryption standards. In case of a triple DES, as the name indicates a triple DES, it runs a DES algorithm and outdated standard three times, encrypting, decrypting and encrypting again to create a longer key length. It can be run with a single key, two key or three different keys with increasing security. Triple DES uses a block cipher method and making it vulnerable to attacks such as a block collision. RSA RSA is one of the first public key algorithm. It uses one-way asymmetric encryption. It is a popular due to its long key length and is used widely throughout the internet. Two-phase algorithm is one of the fastest algorithm. It is available in 128, 196 and 256 bit sizes with a complex key structure and increased security. It is free for use and appears in some of the best free software like VeraCrypt, PZip, KeePass and OpenPGP standard. Elliptical curve cryptography ECC developed as an improvement upon RSA. It provides a better security with significantly shorter key length. It is an asymmetric method used in SSL or TLS protocol. Advanced encryption standards established at the US government for encryption. It is a symmetric key algorithm which uses a block cipher method. It is also available in 128, 192 and 256 bit sizes using an increasing number of rounds of encryption according to size. A password a password, sometimes called a passcode, is a secret data, typically a string of characters usually used to confirm a user's identity. Biometric is measurement and statistical analysis of people, unique physical and behavioral characteristics. The technology is mainly used for identification and access control or for identifying individuals who are under surveillance. Components of biometric devices include a reader or scanning device to record and biometric factor for being authenticated. Software to convert the scan biometric data into a standardized digital format and to compare the match points of observed data with stored data, and a database to securely store biometric data for comparison. Two main types of biometric identifiers are either physiological characteristics or behavioral characteristics. Physiological identifiers relate to the composition of user being authenticated and include the following: facial recognition, fingerprint, finger geometry, iris recognition, vein recognition, retina scanning, voice recognition, etc. Let's move towards the Let's move towards the next security concept, which is email security. It includes PGP and SMIME. Email was designed to be as open and accessible as possible. It allows people in organization to communicate with each other and with people in other organizations also. Because email is an open format, it can be viewed by anyone who can intercept it, causing email security concern. This becomes an issue as organizations begin sending confidential or sensitive information through email. An attacker could easily read the content of email by intercepting it. Email security is a term for describing different procedures and techniques for protecting email account content and communication against unauthorized access, loss, or compromise. Email is often used to spread malware, spam, and phishing attacks. Attackers use deceptive messages to entice recipient to part with sensitive information, open attachment, or click on hyperlink that install malware on victim's device. Email is also a common entry point for attackers looking to gain a foothold in an enterprise network and to obtain a valuable company data. Email encryption involves encrypting or disguising the content of email messages to protect potentially sensitive information from being read by anyone other than intended recipient. Email encryption often includes authentication. Email security is dealing with issue of unauthorized access and inspection of electronic mail. This unauthorized access can happen while an email is in transit as well as when it is stored on email server. Email has to go from many untrusted servers to reach to its destination, and one can intercept or modify it to harm the sender or to make some profit. Email should have CIA, confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Email should be only viewed by a person it is intended to, that is known as a confidentiality. Integrity indicates original content should be received by the receiver. Content should not be modified in transit. Receiver should be able to access mail at any time he requires, which is known as availability of email. Some steps should be followed to secure our email. Security can be performed at sender side. Security can also be done at receiver side, and security should be done while transmission of email. Security at sender side can be implemented by non-technical person. It can use incognito mode while sending mail. Avoid using a public computers. These steps can be followed for implementing the security at sender sides. To implement security at receiver side, we have to avoid downloading attachment from unknown sender. We have to check email headers to verify identity of sender. For secure transmission of email, there are two techniques which are used, known as a PGP and SMIME. PGP PGP stands for Pretty Good Privacy. It is an open source software package that is designed for the purpose of email security. Phil Zimmermann developed it. It provides a basic or fundamental needs of cryptography. It includes confidentiality, authentication, compression, reassemble, segmentation, and email compatibility. Let's see the PGP authentication process. This is the authentication process of PGP. Note that here M stands for message, H is hash function, K5 is a random session key created for symmetric encryption purpose, DP is a public key decryption algorithm, EP public key encryption algorithm, DC asymmetric encryption algorithm, EC symmetric encryption algorithm. KP suffix B is a private key of user B used in public key encryption process. KP suffix A is a private key of user A used in public key encryption process. PU suffix A is a public key of user A used in public key encryption process. PU suffix B is a public key of user B used in public key encryption process. LL is a concatenation, Z is a compression function, and Z raised to minus 1 is a decompression function. Authentication basically means something that is used to be validate something as a true or real. To log in into some sites, sometimes we give our account name and a password. That is an authentication verification procedure. In the email world, checking the authenticity of an email is nothing but to check whether it is actually came from person it says. In email, authentication has to be checked as there are some people who spoof the emails or some spams, and sometimes it can cause a lot of convenience. The authentication service in PGP can be provided as shown in the figure. Hash function H calculates the hash value of message for hashing purpose. SHA-1 is used and it produces a 160-bit output hash value. Then using the sender's private key, it is encrypted, which is known as a digital signature. The message is then appended to the signature. All the process happened till now is sometimes described as signing the message. Then the message is compressed to reduce the transmission overhead and is sent over to the receiver. At receiver's end, data is decompressed and the message signature are obtained. The signature is then decrypted using the sender's public key and the hash value is obtained. The message is again passed to the hash function and its hash value is calculated and obtained. Both the values, one from signature and another from recent output of hash function, are compared. If both are same, it means that the email is actually sent from a known one and it legal, else it means that it's not legal. Let's move towards PGP confidentiality. Confidentiality. Sometimes we see some packages labeled as confidential, which means that those packages are not meant for all the people and only selected persons can see them. The same applies to email confidentiality as well. Here in email service, only the sender and receiver should be able to read the message. That means the content have to be kept secret from every other person except for those two. PGP provides a confidentiality service as shown in the diagram. The message is first compressed and 128-bit session key is generated by PGP. It is used to encrypt the message through symmetric encryption. Then, session key itself gets encrypted through public key encryption using receiver's public key. Both the encrypted entities are now concatenated and sent to the receiver. As you can see, the original message was compressed and then encrypted initially, and hence even if anyone could get hold of the traffic, he cannot read the content as they are not in readable form and they can only read them if they had a session key. Even though session key is transmitted to the receiver and hence is in traffic, it is encrypted form. Only the receiver's private key can be used to decrypt that, and thus our message would be completely safe. At the receiver's end, encrypted session key is decrypted using receiver's private key and the message is decrypted with the obtained session key. Then the message is decompressed to obtain the original message. RSA algorithm is used for the public key encryption, and for the symmetric key encryption, DES or IDEA is used. Let's move towards the next standard of email security, which is SMIME. SMIME stands for Secure Multipurpose Internet Mail Extension. It is a standard for exchanging secure mail with the help of encryption. Previously, mails were supposed to carry text only, but SMIME provides support for varying content. It is supported by major email programs like Outlook and a Netscape. Let's see SMIME signed mail and encrypted. SMIME signed mail. The process of signing mail using SMIME is as shown in the picture. A is a sender which will going to sign the message, and B is a recipient which will going to verify that. A had generated some message for the B. Hash function is applied to that message and encrypted using A's private key. The generated encrypted information will get transmitted to the receiver. At receiver side, it is decrypted using A's public key. Then hash function is applied to obtain original text. So this is the process of signing email. Now, how emails are encrypted using SMIME? In case of encrypted mail, sender uses a random session key, and then session key is encrypted using a B's public key. Your text message or information to be transmitted is also encrypted using a session key. Both the data and session key will get sent to the receiver. Receiver first decrypt the session keys using its a private key, and then message is decrypted using that generated session key to get original message. There are some differences between the PGP and SMIME. Let's see them. PGP is designed for processing the plain text, whereas SMIME is designed to process email as well as many multimedia files. Comparatively, PGP is less costly, whereas SMIME is expensive. PGP is a good technique for personal as well as official use, while SMIME is good for industrial use. As compared to SMIME, PGP is less efficient. PGP depends on user key exchange, whereas SMIME relies on hierarchically valid certificate for key exchange. PGP is comparatively less convenient. SMIME is more convenient. PGP contains 4096 public keys, while SMIME contains only 1024 public keys. PGP is a standard for strong encryption, while SMIME is also a standard for long encryption but has some drawbacks. PGP is also used in virtual private networks. SMIME is not used in virtual private networks. It is only used in email services. Let's move towards the next topic, which is a web authentication. Web authentication, also known as a website authentication, is the security process which allows users to verify their identities in order to gain access to their personal account on a website. This process occurs behind the scenes. Anytime an individual logs into an online account, including a social media profile, e-commerce site, reward program, online banking account, and more. In general, web security refers to protective measures and protocols that organizations adopt to protect the organization from cyber criminals. Web security is critical to business. Web security threats are vulnerabilities within the websites and applications or attacks launched by malicious actors. Common web security threats include malware, ransomware, cross-site scripting, SQL injection, phishing, denial of service attack, and many others. When user creates a new account on website, they create a unique ID and the key will be used in the future to verify their identity and allow them back into account. That ID and key are then stored in a highly secure web server to compare future credential against. The idea is that user is only one who has access to their ID and key, thus ensuring they are the only one able to enter the account. IDs and keys can come in all shapes and sizes, creating login process that range from basically open for an attack to entirely safe and secure. Most common type of website authentication is identification. However, is still that of traditional username and password. At the same time, traditional username and password schemes have increasingly become vulnerable to cyber attacks. There are some more modern alternatives also which are more secure and provides a better user experience. One of them is SSL, Secure Socket Layer. SSL stands for a Secure Socket Layer. It is a standard technology for keeping an internet connection secure and safeguarding any sensitive data that is being sent between two systems. Two systems can be a server and a client. It does this by making sure that any data transfer between users and sites or between two systems remain impossible to read. Secure Socket Layer was most widely deployed cryptographic protocol to provide a security over internet telecommunications before it was succeeded by TLS. Despite the deprecation of SSL protocol and the adoption of TLS transport layer security in its place, most people still refer to this type of technology as SSL. SSL provides a secure channel between two machines or devices operating over the internet or an internal network. One common example is when SSL is used to secure communication between a web browser and a web server. This turns a website address from HTTP to HTTPS. S stands for secure. Next security standard for web authentication is a SET, Secure Electronic Transaction. Secure Electronic Transaction is a system which ensures security and integrity of electronic transaction done using credit card in a scenario. It is not some system that enables a payment, but it is in security protocol applied on those payment. It uses different encryption and hashing techniques to secure our payment over the internet, which are done through the credit cards. SET protocols was supported in development by major organizations like Visa, MasterCard, Microsoft, which provide its security transaction technology. SET protocol restricts revealing of credit card detail to merchant, thus keeping the hackers at bay. Let's see the scenario of a SET transaction. Picture shows participants in the SET system as cardholder, internet, merchant, certificate, issuer, acquire, payment gateway. Requirements in SET are: it has to provide a mutual authentication by confirming if customer is intended user or not. It has to keep the payment information and order information confidential by appropriate encryption. It has to be resistive against a message modification. It also needs to provide interoperability and make use of best security mechanisms. Participants in a SET are cardholder. Cardholder is a customer. Issuer is a customer's financial institution. Merchant is vendor. Acquirer is a merchant's financial institution. Certificate authority is an authority which follows certain standard and issues a certificate to all other participants. SET has to perform following functionalities, such as it has to provide authentication, merchant authentication as well as a cardholder's authentication. It has to provide the message confidentiality, it has to provide message integrity, it has to provide a dual signature facility, purchase request generation, purchase request validation on merchant side, and payment authorization and payment capture information. Let's move towards the last topic from this part, which is a data security. Data is a valuable entity that must have to be firmly handled and managed as with any economic resource. Database security refers to a range of tools and controls and measures designed to establish and preserve a database confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Database security must address and protect the following: data in the database management system, any associated application, the physical database server and a virtual database server, computing and a network infrastructure used to access the database. Database security is a complex and challenging part that involves all aspects of information security technology and practicals. There are a number of consequence factors, including compromised intellectual property, damage to brand reputation, business continuity, fines or penalties for the non-compliance, cost of repairing the breaches, and notifying customers. Compromise intellectual property. As our intellectual property, trades, secret, inventions, proprietary practices may be critical to our ability to maintain a competitive advantage in our market. If intellectual property is stolen or exposed, our competitive advantage may be difficult or impossible to maintain or recover. Damage to brand reputation. Customer or partner may be unwilling to buy our product or services if they don't feel they can trust us to protect our data from theft. Business continuity. Some business cannot continue to operate until a breach is resolved. The financial impact for failing to comply with global regulations such as a SAO or a payment card industry data security standard, industry specific data privacy regulations such as a HIPAA or regional data privacy regulations such as a Europe's General Data Protection Regulation can be devastating, with fines in the worst cases exceeding the several millions dollars per violation. In addition to the cost of communicating a breach to customer, a breach organization must pay for the forensic and investigating activities, crisis management, repair of the affected systems, and more. In order to avoid all these factors, we should have high database security and we should maintain our database secure. Thank you.